All right, just kick us off, Dan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another monthly movie roundup where we go through our letterbox for last month, take a look at the movies we watched, and ask ourselves, was this any good? Sorry, guys, my phone just made a phone noise.
Very professional, Dan. Fucking hell.
My name is already off to a good start.
Do you not know what silence mode is or whatever?
My name is Dan with a H, and with me, as always, is my co-host Tavi. Hello, Tavi.
Hi, Dan.
So,
we're just having a look through at the moment. We haven't really watched too many movies this month.
Yeah, I've been watching a few TV series. Stranger Things season 4, The Boys season 3, and Obi-Wan. So yeah, not too many movies, but I've got a couple. Anything from your list that you want to talk about to start us off?
I mean, I'm just having a look now, and most of the movies that I've kind of seen this month, we've already kind of covered in other posts and whatnot.
You saw Men.
Yeah, Men was pretty good. I enjoyed Men. I like Alex Garland stuff. Ever since I watched a lot of like Danny Boyle movies back in the day.
Yeah.
He was a frequent collaborator with Danny Boyle. So he wrote 28 Days Later. He wrote The Beach. What else did he write with?
Did he do Sunshine?
Yeah, he did Sunshine. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But he directed some of his own stuff. Like his debut was with Ex Machina.
That's a great film.
Yeah, great movie. Annihilation, which unfortunately went straight to Netflix. Would have liked to have seen that one in the cinema. A lot of really nice visuals in that movie.
It's a big scary bear monster thing.
Yeah, that was a very interesting scene. Very creepy. Men's pretty different. It's a lot more. It's his first non-sci-fi movie that he's directed, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
With sci-fi elements. It still has. It's got like its horror elements.
This is an elevated horror film.
Yeah,
right?
So it's A24. So that's
again,
like
A24.
That's the definition there. It's definitely strange. It's a strange movie. I really like its mood and its atmosphere. Jessie Buckley gives a pretty good performance. I was a fan of her work since I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Okay.
Charlie Kaufman did that, and she was really good in that movie. She does a really good American accent. Because I didn't know she was Irish until watching Men. So
the mark of a good American accent, I guess.
Yeah, no, she's climbing up there. She was nominated for an Oscar.
Take notes, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah. She was nominated for an Oscar, but obviously I don't remember the role or the movie because it was slapped out of focus. So because someone else took the limelight for that year.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. I see what you did there. So. Sorry, I'm a bit tired today.
Yeah, we're pretty tired, aren't we? We've just come off, like we've got the same production designers, some of the other stuff we've done, but there's just an accumulation of things on the table.
Yeah, we've been recording.
There's a PS4 controller there. There's a half-drunk bottle of whiskey, and there's camera lens and a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
we've been going pretty hard.
All of these things are an indication of our current state of mind and body. But so bear with us if we seem a bit off.
That's the mood.
But Tavi, I was like, we could do this remotely, really. But Tavi was like, no. Let's not be lazy. Let's do it while you're here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It is what it is.
I'm starting to regret that now. No, it's all good.
So, Men. I don't know too much about this film. I did see the trailer, I think, when I was watching something. I think when I was watching Doctor Strange, maybe.
Oh, was it? Would have been Doctor Strange.
Maybe something before that.
Would have been like another kind of art house movie. or another horror or something.
Don't think I watched many art house films in the cinemas.
It would have been something more like
maybe Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, it would have been that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It did look really creepy.
Yeah.
It looked very whack, I guess.
It's whack.
Yeah.
I need to watch it again because I don't fully understand what I watched. Its narrative does kind of fall apart in the end because you don't really know what's going on.
Okay.
Or I didn't quite pick it up, but it is definitely an interestingly it's an interesting ending. There's a lot of special effects.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool, and I like the whole creepy English countryside feel. The thing I can kind of compare it to would probably be like Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Kind of European old like housing, that kind of stuff. I actually quite like that.
You mean like Hot Fuzz? You mean like Hot Fuzz?
Oh, it could be a little bit like Hot Fuzz, yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking of Hot Fuzz, but like I kind of like that look, which is weird because it's kind of like out of the aesthetics of like the normal Asian cinema stuff that I like with like kind of urban landscapes. But I think it's pretty interesting.
It's pretty.
Yeah, I'd definitely give it a watch. Good performances. Good story. Creepy scenes, and yeah.
I mean, without going into it too much, I mean, there are themes in it, right? From what I've seen from reviews, the majority of the criticisms are coming from the handling of certain themes. I'm guessing that you don't really share the negative opinions on that. Can you see where they're coming from, though?
I can kind of see it, but also I think it's probably, I mean, without going into it too much, like, I'm a dude, so I'm not sure if I can really speak on that.
Sure.
But it's more or less like, I think the story is more interesting than like the message itself. Let's just say that.
So maybe don't get overly focused on the themes, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. It's just appreciate the art that's on screen, I suppose.
Okay, how does it stack up to his other work? Because I really like Ex Machina, and I do like Annihilation as well, probably to a lesser extent.
I don't think it's as good as Annihilation or Ex Machina.
Okay.
So it's probably his weakest movie, to be fair. But that being said, it's definitely not a bad movie.
Whenever I see anything to do with this movie, I can't help but hear like the 2.5 Men theme.
Every time I mention it, you keep singing that song, and I'm like, oh yes, that's fair. It's a
funny title.
Let's have a look at what you watched. You watched Spiderhead, which I've been seeing a lot of ads for.
Yeah, it's on trams and buses here in Australia.
From what was the director's name? Like Joseph Konsky? Was it the same director as Top Gun Maverick, which I will watch.
Is it actually?
Yeah. It's surprising, huh?
That is pretty surprising.
Yeah, that's why Miles Teller is in it. I think they work together a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm going to watch Top Gun Maverick. I think next week. No, tomorrow with Risky, actually. So,
have you not watched it already?
No, I haven't watched it.
I thought I saw it on your list.
No, that's Top Gun, the first Top Gun movie.
Okay.
This might surprise some people, but I had never seen Top Gun before the first one. So
I saw it like once a long time ago. So
yeah,
I don't necessarily think you need to have watched the first one to enjoy the second one. But yeah, anyway, Spiderhead.
Hello again.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it's the same director because it's a far less good movie than Top Gun Maverick, I'm gonna have to say. I chalk this one up to just kind of like a Netflix throwaway movie. It's like it brings some interesting ideas to the table. Like I like the concept of yeah, like having this kind of prison system where the inmates have all volunteered to be part of like drug testing, I guess. It's kind of like somewhat dystopian, but not that far like removed from reality.
Yeah, the premise does sound interesting, and it does look. I've actually never seen. I haven't seen a trailer or anything about this movie.
Just the ads on
Just the ads
trams.
on trains and the premise.
Yeah.
Which to me it sounds interesting, but having a look now, it's not been very well received.
Okay, yeah.
And as you just said, like yeah. So why is this not a good movie?
I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. I just think it's fine. It's like a forgettable movie.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have been a lot more than it was because it does have like this kind of very claustrophobic location in the prison.
Yeah.
And like Chris Hemsworth is playing this kind of eccentric scientist that is very passionate about getting his product perfect.
And very tank.
And he is tank, but he doesn't really use any of that. Yeah. He's having a lot of fun with his character. He gets to wear some glasses. He gets to like dance around a bit. And yeah, like from the offset, it kind of gives off Ex Machina vibes, which we just talked about briefly. Like, but I think it just falls short in almost every aspect. Like the performances are fine, but like nothing special. There's not really many memorable acting moments. The story that plays out is also fine. Like it's serviceable. There aren't too many twists and turns that you can't really see coming.
Do you think it's a waste of potential?
It is a bit.
Yeah.
But it also feels just like a bit of a quickly made Netflix production.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's obviously shot on a pretty small budget, I guess. Besides, like the stars that they have involved, there is just one location, and it is basically just like a series of rooms. You know. So I guess the majority of the money went to the stars, which that's kind of like a Red Notice situation. Right there. You know what Notice. I mean? And I got nothing against Hemsworth and Teller. I think they're great actors. It's just, it didn't seem like they were putting in 110% in this film. I know Miles Teller has been doing a bunch of stuff recently.
He was in that Godfather...
The Offer.
The biographical retelling of the making of that movie.
Which I've heard is quite... good.
I heard that critics didn't really like it, but it's got a pretty strong audience reception.
Is that similar to the movie itself, the Godfather movie?
No, everyone loved. I'm not sure at the time of release, maybe. But,
maybe I'm thinking of Blade Runner.
But no, Godfather is like obviously universally loved.
But he's also in Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah,
he's been working pretty hard. He's a millennial like us as well. So it was odd to see that he was like 35 years old, and then we were like, oh shit, we're like, we're basically that age now.
So, it just seemed like they were just not really giving it their all in this film. I don't know if that is the case or.
I'm just having a look. It was filmed in Queensland.
Okay,
there was one place. Yeah. So another win for Aussie production.
You definitely like you might enjoy watching this film, but you'll definitely forget about it very quickly. And that's not that great for a film. But it's on Netflix, so like why not watch it, I guess.
I mean, there's probably better things to watch on Netflix.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see what else you've been watching. You watched Jackass the movie?
I was doing a bit of before watching Jackass, I was doing a bit of research for one of the projects we're working on. You can probably see before Jackass, I was watching The King of Pigs and All About Lily Choo Choo.
Okay.
And they're both very heavy movies.
Okay. So this is another rinsing.
It's just kind of a balancing of the moods. I finished watching King of Pigs, and then I was just on Netflix. I'm like, I need to watch something that's not like, gonna make me depressed for a little bit. So then I just saw that Jackass was on. So yeah, I just chucked it on, and it took me way back to when I was.
We watched it in theaters, right? When it first came out.
No, I didn't actually get this in theaters. This is
okay. I'm sure we watched it together in theaters.
No, we didn't. I didn't actually watch this movie in theaters. Okay. I knew a friend back in high school who was mates, or he knew someone who was mates with a projectionist. So they basically copied the film onto VHS.
Ooh, that sounds very illegal.
Oh, yeah, highly illegal. My parents were never going to let me watch.
It's like analog piracy.
Yeah, it was analog piracy. But yeah, like, you know,
it's the old school shit.
My parents weren't going to take me to go watch this movie when I was 12 years old. And I remember a group of friends of mine, we tried to go watch this movie in the cinema, but the attendant didn't let us because we didn't have a guardian, and that's probably in their best interest.
Sure.
Obviously, as a kid, I was like, "Fuck this! I want to go watch the movie." But
you can only get away with so much crime.
We instead we went to go watch. It was Just Married with Ashton Kutcher and Brittany Murphy, which was not a great movie, but you know. But yeah, no, I got this movie on VHS, and I obviously used to sneak watch this movie. Like we used to have the VHS player upstairs.
Right.
And I think I had a TV in my room at the time. So I would just watch Jackass the movie like repeatedly like when I could.
It's really funny, right?
It's really funny. It's probably the butt of a cause of a lot of like people that I probably don't like, in a sense of the kind of personality that it would probably have bred. But
okay, yeah.
I do like the kind of genuine, I guess, camaraderie between the Jackass crew members.
Man, I would hate to be a part of that friendship group.
Yeah.
You just never feel safe at any point.
Yeah, one of the pretty funny, I guess, more or less harmless skits is like one of the guys holding like a hair razor.
Yeah, and it's like the psycho the jaws thing.
It's pretty funny. But yeah, after that, like I watched all the Jackass movies in the cinema, except the latest
3D?
one, which I watched on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
But yeah, no, obviously there's no story. There is absolutely no story.
I mean, but it in terms of like it being just a masterclass at low budget filmmaking, I guess. Because it makes so much money.
Yeah. The Jackass movies make a ton of money. They're so...
But I guess it's also like they're putting their bodies on the line. Like,
they get hurt.
Yeah. They can't... This is the last one, right? The one.
Jackass, it has to be. They're 50 years old now,
Fucking hell. Johnny Knoxville,
like, we talk about us, like, you know, getting injured, just sleeping wrong.
Yeah.
And like us being tired now, like imagine like what those guys are doing, you know?
Yeah, I can't. I would die, I think.
But yeah, like, I mean, there's not too much I can say about it, is that it's funny.
I laughed a lot. I'm pretty sure I watched it in cinemas. If not this one, then definitely
you
the
would have
later
been 15
ones.
by then.
But
so you probably did.
And I don't really laugh in cinemas a lot of the time, but like this movie just gets you. It's like you know, it's like my dad. He's a very philosophical gentleman. You know, he's a bit of a. He likes to think of himself as an intellect, I guess. He reads a lot. He doesn't really like movies because, you know, it's not real. He prefers documentaries and the news. But his, like, one of his biggest pleasures is watching Australia's funniest home video shows. Really? I've never heard him laugh so much as when he's watching one of his home video shows. And I think Jackass is, you know, it captures that essence. It's just like slapstick at its purest form. It's
a lot more injury to the phallus involved.
Do you remember any like from this movie, the first movie? What was like the biggest thing?
I think the climax skit or stunt is they basically shove a toy car up Ryan Dunn's ass. That one was pretty funny. But But I like the alligator one where Steve-O is walking across a tightrope across the pond, and there's
Was
like
that
alligators.
their big budget stunt? Because usually there's like one stunt. That's
Yeah,
like
the big budget stunt was I was surprising because I thought it was the one where Steve-O was in the porta potty.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's Jackass 2. In Jackass 1, it's the getting Ryan Dunn getting the car shoved up his ass.
Is that just the budget got inflated because they had to take him to the hospital? Is that what
Probably,
happened?
yeah, they did. Yeah, no, it's just, yeah, no. I think the biggest difference is like there's not as much. There's a lot more like stunts that involve the public in this one because they go to Japan for a segment and they're just like causing a ruckus, like dressing up as pandas and jumping on each other.
Okay.
But they don't show their dick as much in this one compared to the other Jackasses and compared to the latest Jackass. There's just like, the stunts in terms of like the aerodynamics of the stunts, they obviously probably didn't do it as much in the latest one, but there's a lot of stuff that they do to their junk, which is like painful to watch. I mean, you can ask Nat about it. She had her first experience watching Jackass Forever with us, and
they probably like after this movie, they probably did some analytics and was like the company people were like, people really responded to you getting hit in the dick. Let's just keep doing that for the rest of these movies. And like they're like, oh man,
anything to do with getting hit there is
that's funniest home video shows. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it gets a lot.
I hope I don't get hit in the groin with this ball. Boing.
Right, let's see. Let's pick another movie that we've watched. What is I've not seen Spontaneous. What is this movie?
So Spontaneous is about a group of teens attending high school.
Oh,
and
you've already sold me.
And they're just a normal bunch of teens. And then one day, one of their classmates spontaneously explodes.
I've heard about this movie. No, it does sound interesting actually.
Yeah.
The spontaneous aspect of it.
Yeah. And the rest of the movie is them trying to figure out why this is happening and how they can stop it from happening, all under like this kind of overwhelming fear of like they might be the next person to spontaneously explode. It's a pretty interesting watch for the most part. Like it's kind of, the tone is kind of like a coming of age kind of story though. So it's not really horror, even though this horrible thing is happening to them. It's kind of more about how each character kind of deals with this terrible situation. And there's like a love story that unfolds, and then tragedy happens, and like the government gets involved at a point. I guess the overarching message of the film is like you never know when your time might be up, so make the most out of the time that you have, I guess. Carpe diem is the message, which is fine. I think like the main thing that puts me off when it comes to this film is like it's definitely like it's got those COVID parallels.
You're not a fan of that.
Not a fan of that. Like we don't need to be reminded that this terrible thing is happening to us. It doesn't need to. I think it would have worked even without that stuff.
Yeah.
But there's like once the government gets involved, it becomes really heavy-handed, I think, because they create this pill that is supposed to stop the spontaneous combustions from happening, and then it works for a while, but then it stops working, so they have to take another pill. That's a very
and
then the messaging as well, it becomes very like just a bit too obvious, I think, and it becomes a bit preachy towards the end, especially. Like it just ends with a narration about how I'm not, like I the audience am not living my life properly because I'm wasting time. And like while I'm listening to that, I'm also watching this movie, which is wasting my time. You know what I mean? I didn't appreciate getting lectured by this character who is a high school student telling me to carpe diem, you know, to get shit done.
No, it does seem okay. Like, I like the premise.
I like the human elements of the story. Like, I really enjoyed the love story that is happening throughout the film, and the gore effects are quite good as well. So I like those aspects. I don't think the ending stuck, and could have done without the COVID stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. I may or may not give it a watch. We'll see. There's usually have a stinker each month that I like to draw attention to. You watch Fantasy Island.
Oh, that was last month.
Yeah, I've heard that movie is rubbish.
It is. Let me try to remember what it was about.
It's a remake, of like the Fantasy Island TV series from the 60s or something, but it's like a horror version.
I guess you can call it a remake or a
reboot. I think it's the third time
reimagining,
because I remember Fantasy Island was remade or rebooted in like the early 2000s with Malcolm McDowell playing like the main butler dude or whatever he is. But it was like Michael Pena this time around or something.
Yes. And the guy from Love Hard is in it. Is that Aaron Chen?
No, that's the Australian
we always
comedian.
make this mistake.
It's Jimmy O Yang.
Jimmy O Yang. You know what happened is like we made that joke like when we were doing the Love Hard episode, and now I'm just constantly mixing up the two.
They do look very similar.
But before you mentioned that, I never mixed up those two. But now I can't stop mixing them up.
No, they're very similar.
But yeah, like the Fantasy Island is just... It's just a bad film. I think, I guess the premise is these people get taken to an island where they get to act out their biggest fantasy. So, like, it's kind of like a magical thing that's happening to them. There's no technology involved. It's just like the island knows what your fantasy is, and it brings it to life on the island. Except the horror aspect is that it twists the fantasies into nightmare
very original
situations. So I mean, like, there's also like this kind of, I guess they're trying to add like a sentimental part of it to the story. Like, what's her name? Maggie Q. Maggie Q is the main character in it, and she. I guess her fantasy, or the island thinks her fantasy is to have married like her love from a while ago that she actually had turned down in real life, but like her fantasy is to relive that situation and make the decision to marry him and start a family with him. And she just ends up saying, actually, that's not, I don't really want this either. And another character's fantasy is he always wanted to be a soldier because his father was a soldier. Yeah. So when he comes to the island, like, he becomes a soldier. But the twist is he actually gets put in like a past situation, and it's a situation where his dad was killed in war. Not executed very well at all. It just turns into like a cheap B movie, and the scares, some of the scares are so laughable that you do kind of enjoy watching it at times because it is just so ridiculous. But other than that, there's not much reason to watch this film. I'd say.
I'm probably not going to watch it.
I would watch Jurassic Revival instead if you're looking for something that's so bad it's good. That's a fun movie. Which you probably would have heard us talk about, in our Sydney episode. Let's see. I guess like we could probably talk about a movie that we've both seen, but before that, I guess like some recommendations from the movies I watched. I'd probably watch I Lost My Body, which is a
maybe 3-year-old French animated movie. It's just about a guy who gets his hand cut off in a... Actually, I probably shouldn't reveal. Well, his hand has been cut off. And the hand basically comes to life, and it kind of searches for the host. And then you kind of see the story of, like, the host and just his, you know, kind of the events that led up to that moment. There's a really kind of humanistic, realistic feel to it, surprisingly. There's some pretty tense scenes that involve the hand, but there's a really good scene that involves, like, the main character who still has his hand at that point, and he's just having a conversation with this woman through, like, an intercom thing, because he, like, delivers his pizza late, and they kind of have an argument, but then they kind of become friends at the end. So that was a really, like, really well written scene, very, like, kind of very naturalistic, and I think, like, French cinema does that really well. I haven't seen too many like modern French movies, but I've watched a lot of, like, new wave stuff, which I've enjoyed.
Okay.
But yeah, I Lost My Body is pretty good. But yeah, other than that, I guess, like, that's most of the movies. I mean, like, we've already talked about most of these movies on our episodes, but do you have any recommendations from June?
Morbius was pretty good.
I mean, are we just going to get stuck into Morbius then?
Let's do Morbius.
The best movie of this year.
Yeah.
More than time, you know? Which I'm sure,
I'm sure you've seen all the memes. I'm sure if you're watching this, Morbius has come and gone twice.
It bombed twice, yeah. I see you giving it 5 stars.
Yeah, same as you.
Yeah, same as me. Yeah. It really is the best movie.
I guess it doesn't merit any explanation. I mean, this is a case of just a demonstration of the power of internet culture. And how powerful and also how dangerous it can be. Because people lost a lot of money with this project.
Yeah, so they did lose a lot of money. Why was this movie so bad, though?
Which, I mean, we laugh about it, but, you know, these are people's jobs.
It's true, but, like, I don't know.
Yeah, why was this movie so bad?
Yeah.
Again, it's not even that it's terrible.
Yeah, I know.
It's just that it's, like, meh. And just how bland and how, like, devoid of, like, passion it is, and just how, like...
Well, apparently the director of the movie was quite passionate about this project.
I mean, they always say that, though, but are they? Like, the director of Cowboy Bebop, the TV series, said that as well.
Andre Nemec, the showrunner.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, okay, fine. Maybe he was, but it... like, I guess maybe it might have been studio interference, but the fact is it is a very, like, heavily produced film. Like, it's one of those production line films, like, where they're like, look, they've got this Spider-Man property, they're looking through, like, what can we use from this IP? Oh, Morbius, what's that? It's a vampire man. Oh, okay. Let's make a movie out of him. Oh, yeah, but he's the bad guy. Oh, but does he have to be the bad guy? Maybe we can make him the good guy. You know, it's just that situation. It's like Venom as well. Yeah.
Venom, but Venom is a beloved character. Yeah, I remember being pretty excited to hear that they were making a Venom movie, because when I was growing up, I loved the character. I didn't read any of the comics.
But you've seen him in, like, the Spider-Man TV shows.
But I just loved the character
game
design, because I loved Alien. So I thought, oh, this looks really cool. So I still was pretty excited, even when I heard that there were, like, when it was prior to the release, like maybe 3 years before, it was like, oh, they're going to make, like, an R-rated Venom or whatever. And when it came out, it's pretty mediocre movie. But then I just thought, like, even if they did make it R-rated, it still just wouldn't have been good. Venom, Let There Be Carnage is not very good either. It's a very average movie.
I haven't seen it. But
it's okay. Like, it's fun. It's just too much. Even though this is not about Morbius, it could apply to Morbius, and this is probably just personal preference as well. But like, there's too much watering down of anti-hero characters. Because these characters are characters that kill people. So, like, you know, I didn't care whether Morbius was going to be a violent movie or not. And I don't think the violence would have made it any better. But I think these character movies, they're too light, especially Let There Be Carnage. Because
Carnage is a fucking psychopath.
So he's a killer, but like, they made his motivations really dumb.
Sure.
But
and Morbius makes that mistake as well. They're like just whitewashing this this villain. He's a vampire. He's supposed to be killing guys and drinking blood, and not drinking blood, I guess, but like
he drinks the syntax blood.
Yeah.
Like the synthetic blood. I mean,
I don't know. Like, this movie, I feel like, was particularly messy as well. I feel like it was just cut way down because they wanted to lower the runtime. It feels like a movie with bits missing from it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think
like,
so too. Yeah.
Like, Kyrie's is in this film, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't do anything.
He's not even very over the top. I dare say he gives quite a subdued performance in this
surprisingly
movie.
subdued, because he's taking it seriously. Like, bless him. I think he did have a bigger role to play in this film, because I don't know if you noticed this, but he's got his hand in his pocket for a lot of the film.
Yeah.
And he kind of talks about how, like, Morbius's technology saved his arm or something, like, in the war. Yeah. And, like, you do see his arm, like, out of his pocket at times, and it's got like this kind of brace thing on it. I think his character was supposed to have like a robot hand or something, like a cybernetic arm. But they just took those parts out, or they just didn't bother to like CG in the arm or something. Like, I don't know if that would have added to the film or not, but
I mean, I don't even have, or it might just because I'm really tired at the moment, but I have no way of how to improve that movie. I mean, maybe just make Matt Smith dance more.
Do that face more. That effect, man.
It reminded me of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Totally.
It has a very early 2000s feel.
It does. Even the look of it, like the whole grungy, like Evanescence look of it.
The like kind of like edgy, like gothic feel, but with none of the music.
Like
they should have just gone full bore early 2000s, like put in new metal.
You know how Morbius, like, he calls all those bats and does like a bat punch?
I'm
pretty sure the same thing happens in Dracula Untold.
Oh yeah, probably. I remember we were watching that movie and I fell asleep, and I have like no, even for like bad movies or movies that I can remember bits and pieces of it. I can't remember a single thing from Dracula Untold.
I remember it's got like really massive sequel bait at the end. It's like it cuts to like modern day, and like Dracula Untold is there. The character Dracula Untold is in modern day, and then Charles Dance appears, like the antagonist of the film. And you're
I can't. When I try to think of that movie, I just think of every single other vampire movie. I think of Dracula 2000 or Abraham Lincoln or even fucking Morbius. No, but this one
was trying to create a universe. It was trying to reboot the Dark Universe before.
Was that before the Mummy?
Before the Mummy, yeah. So this was like, maybe, I don't even think it was the first attempt to redo the Dark Universe, but it was definitely a attempt to redo the Dark Universe. But then it bombed, and that never happened. And then the Mummy tried to do it as well later down the line.
I honestly would say I have not seen Dracula Untold with how much, like, if you showed it to me now, it's literally that movie has been wiped from my memory. Someone has got into my brain and removed Dracula Untold.
Yeah, well, he does a big old bat punch or bat Hadouken in that, similar to what happens in Morbius.
Yeah, when he does that in this movie, and then Matt Smith just dies, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? It's not much of a fight, right?
Yeah. And like Matt Smith's motive, like as you said, bits are missing. So Matt Smith's motivation is because he was bullied by a bunch of Greek kids.
He's just a bad guy. He's just a bad guy with the same powers as the good guy.
Yeah, he's got really good dancing skills.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. But yeah, this movie Morbius also sets up something. It's like it's got the most egregious post-credit scene that I've ever seen as well. It's just a case of the studio like putting something on the screen and going, "Is this anything? Do you guys want to see this happen in the future?"
It's just I don't know. It's
5 stars, 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5 for a movie. If I'm speaking honestly, I can't even really say much about this movie, really. Like, the special effects are just what you'd expect.
Maybe we need to watch it again. If you could, Sony, bring it back into theaters a third time.
We'll go watch it.
That'd be good. I'll go watch it.
Yeah, it'll be more than time for sure.
Scouts honor.
It's funny where people will say that the meme officially died is when Jared Leto acknowledged it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Post. Yeah. So rest in peace, Morbius.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like we always do a Marvel movie. Like on the podcast, I'm like, let's try not to talk about like Marvel stuff because there's like so much exposure for Marvel.
I mean, this is not an MCU film, so I think
true.
We're breaking the mold.
Marvel. It's still a comic book film.
Let's see if we can do at least one of these monthly movie roundups without talking about a Marvel property. I don't think it can happen.
We're probably going to talk about Love and Thunder.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, because I did like Thor Ragnarok, so maybe I'll watch
Love and Thunder. Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, shall we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right, guys, what did you guys watch in June 2022? Did you watch these movies? What did you think of them? Get in touch with us. You can email in at twoasianblokes@gmail.com. You can join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation. You can follow us on Instagram at twoasianblokes, or you can follow us on Letterboxd. I am at Dan with a H, and Tavi is at Tavi Tongkam. Yeah, thanks for listening. Sorry, we're a bit off, but
I think
you enjoyed it.
I can already tell that we're a bit spaced out today.
Also, sorry for the background noise, Risky. Have fun taking that stuff out.
Yeah. This is true, like low budget podcast without a studio, but that's all right. But yeah, we'll
cut it here.
We'll cut it here. All right. See you later, guys.
Bye.
The camera's over there. So, okay.